Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing fine this lovely Monday afternoonish. Close enough, okay? Well, I hope you're all doing a-okay. I am doing just fine. I hope you're all doing well with this shift in weather. Looks like it's gonna stop being hot soon, possibly. God, summer's overstayed its welcome. By a long shot, too. Man, I can't remember the last time I wanted summer to end this bad. I love summer usually. I like it a lot more than freezing my ass during winter, but golly, everybody, did this thing take forever? Oh well. Uh, I don't know. What else am I supposed to do? Just wait. That's it. Uh, Sorry. But yeah, I totally dig that we're getting towards cold weather again. That means I get to wear sweats again and hoodies without anyone telling me, "Why are you wearing a hoodie? It's hot outside. It's over 100 degrees." I know, right? So today we're gonna read Breach the Archangel Job. Hopefully we can finish it today. Hopefully. I'll try my best. Hopefully we do. I think we're like really there at the end, if I recall correctly. So we're just right there at the end of it all, and yeah, that's basically it. After this, what are we gonna read? I don't know. I was thinking about maybe taking a break from this for a while, cause God, this thing shreds my vocal cords. So I just wanted some time off or something from this particular aspect. But like, when we're playing cause what that'll be like two things. We finish Vampire the Masquerade on Thursday, and my boy was here to witness that. Shout out to you. So we'll be finishing this. So what do we have to play left? Uh, let's see. Of course, we got Deathloop, which I don't know. I'd say maybe we're like halfway or something. It seems like we're getting semi close. Well, we're overpowered. So yeah, we're doing fine there. Deathloop is we're on track for. Far Cry is more of an outlier filler episode, so it's not that important. Yeah, Warhammer Battle Sector. I don't know if you guys actually want me to go back and beat Morbid 7 Acolytes. I don't know. We'll check it out. Maybe we'll see. Yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah, Morbid the 7 Acolytes. We never finished. Dawn of War 2 we also did not, but I think maybe it was too slow for you guys to actually enjoy it. Well, you know what? That's enough of me talking your head off. God, I forget how I talk way too much. I think that's my problem. I talk too much. I'm pretty sure it pisses people off eventually. Alrighty then. Well, let's jump into Breach the Archangel Job. Finish it up. Alright. Greg's Glorious Goods, morning. You wake up with Raquel still in your arms as the sound of a group of people coming into the shop pulls you out of your sleep. You've been guarding yourself in your sleep all night, a habit you've learned being with the Archangels ever since the outfit raided your safe house. You quietly slip out of bed and pick up your shooty bang bang and smile, putting it behind your back, just in case. Just as you look at the clock and realize it's 4:42 in the morning. You peek out the door and see a few familiar faces. Well, familiar masks, to be precise. An Archangel with a chrome mask and black skull over the face leads a group of 5 others. The person behind him, an Archangel with a black mask with a fiery white skull, is carrying an unconscious man. Behind him is another Archangel with a yellow mask with a black smile, dragging the unconscious body of a huge, bulky man in a suit, with the help of another Archangel, who has a black mask with a green star. And lastly, in the back is an Archangel wearing a silver mask with an emerald green antique design, shepherding a bound, gagged, and blindfolded woman, also in a suit. You recognize these Archangels. It's Voldy's crew. Chuckles, Killjoy, Goff, Violet, respectively. Voldy leads at the front, a giant .500 S&W revolver in his hand. "Hey, Gabe, good sleep?" he asks. You turn and see Gabriel walking out of Greg's office with the blanket around his neck, wearing nothing but his dress shirt and purple sweatpants. No shoes or socks whatsoever.
Oh, hey,
Gabriel replies groggily.
just put them in the holding cells.
Separate? Voldy asks.
No, put them in one room together. Why not throw the key in there while you're at it? Give them something to read and have some tea prepared for them. I'll bake them a cake,
Gabriel says sarcastically.
Okay, I'll separate them. Jeez,
Voldy says as he gestures for his crew to bring the prisoners to the holding cells at the far end of Greg's shop. Gabriel stares for a moment before sighing.
Sorry, I didn't really get good sleep with all the holes and burn marks on my body.
He turns around and walks back into the office to throw the blanket over a couch with the pillow on one end. It appears that he's been sleeping on said couch. He walks back out, and as soon as he sees you, he gestures for you to come over and says,
Come on, we need to do this quick, and I need your help.
He walks off to the interrogation room, and you follow behind him. What are we doing?
We're about to rescue Greg,
Gabriel says. You follow him as Michael walks out of the interrogation room where Salzar was yesterday, and then walks over to Gabriel saying, He's not talking anytime soon.
I'll make him talk,
Gabriel says. No, I mean he's unconscious, Michael says.
Oh, still? How hard did Raquel punch him?
Gabriel asks as he and Michael start walking towards the armory.
Anyway, did he call yesterday? Did he call yet?
Not yet, but I'm ensuring he's about to. You can't hold out much longer with all these pressures. With all the pressure the Associates, Angels, and the other Archangels are putting on him, Michael says. You assume they're talking about Don Lavidenci.
Alright then, I'll go wake Mouse up,
Gabriel says as he walks off, but Michael stops him. No, you stay and wait for the phone call. I'll wake Mouse up, Michael says.
Why do I have to be the one to pick up the call?
Gabriel says. Because I said so, Michael says as he walks off towards where Mouse is sleeping. You hear Gabriel sighing as he walks into the break room. You enter the room with him and you see 3 sofas surrounding a table with an old landline telephone on top of it connected to a laptop, and a television on the far wall that appears to have been shot at from multiple angles. You don't think it works anymore. Gabriel takes a seat on the couch and urges you to do the same. You get a feeling of deja vu as you take a seat in front of Gabriel with the phone and table in between you. You're beginning to wonder who this Don Lavidenci is and what his history with the outfit's been. So, who is this Don Lavidenci, you ask. Gabriel sits back and says,
The most powerful crew and wretched man in all of Illinois. Head of the Chicago outfit, organized crime family, and proud owner of the Chicago Police Department.
He owns the police? You ask.
Local police, yes. He's having trouble with the state troopers, but they haven't made a move on him yet. So we're assuming they've either handed all operations over to the FBI, or Don Lavidenci has handled them a shit ton of money.
How much power does he have?
Quite a lot, but that power's draining due to the fact that we're damaging his operations quite severely,
Gabriel says, and you imagine a smirk running across his face behind that permanent smile of his.
Thanks to you,
he gestures to you.
It used to be that he had the entire city under his thumb, but now he only controls those he can buy, and the number of things he can buy decreases daily, as we do more and more damage to his operation,
Gabriel continues. How much resistance are we looking at, you ask?
I'm not sure, but prepare for anything from 5 to 50, Gabriel says. We don't know how prepared he is or what he wants. So for now, all we can do is guess and be prepared if we're wrong.
Gabriel pulls out a flask and takes a sip from it. What if he wants to kill you, you ask?
Then we'll try and survive, if possible, and try to kill him back,
Gabriel says calmly. You and Gabriel continue to wait for a few more minutes when suddenly Mouse walks into the break room groggy and still rubbing his eyes. Hello, he says with a weak morning voice.
Good morning, Mouse. Why don't you take a seat in front of the laptop? We're waiting for a call,
Gabriel says, gesturing to the laptop and then to the sofa in front of it. Oh, Mouse says, staring at the laptop. Oh! He shouts in realization as he goes to the sofa and begins tapping away, preparing an application on the laptop. The room falls silent once more as the sound of Mouse's typing fills it. Who else is coming with us? You ask. Gabriel thinks for a second before responding.
You, me, Michael, Mouse, Raquel, and a few others on standby.
Will it be enough? You ask.
I don't know, but I hope so, Gabriel says.
Do you think the Don's gonna want you to come alone? Mouse asks.
I don't doubt it, but I doubt he'll be playing by the rules either.
How exactly are we gonna rescue Greg, you ask?
I don't know for sure, but as soon as a plan comes into my head, I'll let you know, Gabriel says with a reassuring nod.
How come you rarely have a specific plan for things like these? You ask, noticing the pattern of how Gabriel operates.
I work best on spontaneity. The fact that I don't have a plan makes my moves so much more unpredictable. Sure, it's foolish to go in unprepared, but I almost always expect the unexpected, Gabriel explains. Honestly, I just don't like sticking to one plan and going with it like everything will go smoothly, easy peasy. Things rarely go smoothly, he says.
So you don't want to have to worry about your plan failing if you don't have a plan to begin with? Mouse asks. Gabriel nods in confirmation.
Mm-hmm. If the enemy has a plan, my unprepared plan is to prevent their plan from succeeding.
How come the Don wants to meet now, after all we did to the outfit? You ask.
Most likely because we've done so much damage, he's had enough of it. Either that or he heard we were being hunted down by the FBI and wanted to offer some help, which I doubt. Either way, there's going to be a lot of cautious stares at the meeting today, Gabriel says.
How much does he know about us, you ask?
Enough to call you by a call sign through your phone, but not your name. I'm guessing he's done his research, but we'll have to see for ourselves,
he says. Do you think the Don knows who you really are? You ask.
Honestly, your guess is as good as mine, but I have doubts, Gabriel says.
Don't say anything. And for a few minutes more, the room falls silent as the waiting continues, when suddenly, ring, ring. Gabriel immediately leans forward to pick up the phone as Mouse starts tracing the call with the laptop.
Hello? Gabriel answers.
You know who this is? The familiar voice of Don Lavidenchi emerges from the speakers.
Yes, and I know that you wish to talk, Gabriel says.
Who is this? The Don asks.
This is Gabriel. I'm assuming this is Don Lavidenchi, Gabriel asks.
Gabriel? I see my people failed to silence you at the hospital. Where's Michael? I wish to speak with your leader, the Don says.
Michael's currently busy, but I can fill in for him. Where are we meeting? Gabriel asks
as he looks over at Mouse, who's currently tracking through a few false leads to get to the actual location. Make sure he comes to the docks. You'll know which warehouse soon. Me and Father Murdoch will be waiting, he says, and then the phone is handed over to someone else. You hear a cough followed by the familiar voice of Greg saying, Gabriel, don't come here. He wants you to come. Stay away. The phone pulls away and Don Lavidenchi's voice returns. You have 1 hour from now exactly. Don't be late. Don't be early. Unless you want to know the consequences, the Don says.
Give us 2 hours.
The Don hangs up in the middle of Gabriel's request.
God damn it.
Michael! He shouts. Just then, Michael enters the room with a jar of cookies and a clipboard. Michael muffles a reply through a mouthful of cookies.
We're gonna go to the docks right now. We have an hour to get there, Gabriel says.
Michael nods with his mouth full of cookies. He says before turning around and walking back out of the room. Gabriel looks over at you and says,
Get ready, fill up on ammo, have your crew board on SUV, and follow us to the dock.
Will my crew be coming with us?
Yes, but they'll be our backup. I need them to stay a bit away from the site. Be ready on standby if anything happens, Gabriel says.
You nod, and as soon as he gestures for you to disperse, you and Mouse rush over to your crew and wake them up, seeing as how most of them are fast asleep. Everyone was feeling the test of endurance yesterday, and to be honest, right now you could use a little sleep yourself. But you steel yourself and keep going. You load up on ammo and make sure your team's prepared, and board one of the SUVs outside the church with them. About 30 minutes later, you find yourself in your SUV. Sorry. Sitting in the back with Mouse sitting beside you, Charlie driving, Anna in the front passenger seat, and Hayne in the back with you. Your crew seems ready for whatever's about to come, but neither you nor Gabriel are able to predict what will happen. For you, this will be the first time meeting Don Lavidenci of the Chicago outfit. I don't know if this is the first time for Gabriel, too. But you know for sure that you'll have to be on your toes at all time. With Mouse sitting beside you, you can feel the nervousness jittering out of him. He still has his laptop out, tracking the signal of Don Lavidenci's phone. But then you see the trio's SUV in front of you, coming to a stop in front of a convenience store. You see Gabriel hop out and walk casually into the store. He appears to have put on a heavy bulletproof tactical vest while he was in the car. Seems like he's expecting trouble. However, he just simply strolls in and walks over to the refrigerated section of the back of the store. The store owner watches in fear and confusion as a man in a suit and hockey mask with a bloody red smile wearing a heavily armored bulletproof vest walks in. Grab a bag of beef jerky, 2 bottles of water, and a tampon. Gabriel throws a few bills on the counter, then walks out and gets back into the car as the cashier continues to stare at him. The convoy finally continues to make its way to the dock. You look over at Hayne currently checking the magazine on her rifle. She seems completely calm about everything, not showing an inch of nervousness. Upon closer inspection, she seems a bit bored. Then you look over at Anna, who's currently typing away on her phone, possibly chattering with someone. She doesn't appear to be nervous one bit, but you can see her eyes looking up and around from her phone. She does seem quite tired. Lastly, you look at Charlie in the driver's seat. From where you are, you can't quite see, but you can tell by the fingers tapping on the steering wheel and the constant, vigilant gaze. He's quite nervous and somewhat exhausted. Are you nervous? Not at all. Nerves of steel, baby. You find yourself steeling your nerves and taking it easy. You're calm and composed, with your Ronald Reagan and Shooty Shooty Bang Bang and Smile, your two Beretta M9s by your side. You can see Gabriel's SUV in front of you and Charlie follows them. You look past them and see the shimmering blue sea, reflecting the sky above in the morning sun, and the many warehouses that lay upon the docks. You can smell the seawater splashing and spraying into the air as it slams into the concrete harbor wall. The morning air and the sea water spray, the seagulls and the beautiful sunrise help calm your nerves. You see the perimeter fence of the warehouses, and before going through, Gabriel's SUV suddenly parks to the right of it. Gabriel pulls your SUV over behind them. Gabriel hops out along with Raquel while Michael's apparently staying in the car. Gabriel walks up with Raquel behind him and says to you through the window you're currently opening,
I need you to switch with Raquel, and have your crew stay here while we go in and meet with the Don.
Raquel gestures for you to get out. She seems far more gentle with you than she would be with anyone else. Don't say anything and just get out of the car. You nod to Gabriel before telling your crew to be ready for your call. You hop out and follow Gabriel as Raquel gets into your seat beside Mouse.
All right, remember the go word,
Gabriel shouts to Raquel as she slams the door. You get into the SUV with Michael and the smell of smoked beef hits you. You can see an open bag of beef jerky in the middle of the seat as Gabriel gets in from the other side. He takes the jerky, lifts his helmet, and as usual eats through his ski mask. With your crew waiting behind, you're driven to what looks like a roadblock with a few outfit soldiers guarding it and 2 sedans blocking the way. Gabriel tells you to put on your mask, so you pull it out and do so. Michael drives up to them, and as you look through the windshield, they nod and point to one of the many warehouses beyond the checkpoint. They pull the car away, letting your SUV pass. In the rearview mirror, you can see them hopping into one of their sedans and driving behind your SUV. You look back to the front and see Gabriel eyeing the dock. casually looking around the place, scanning the surroundings, almost as if he's looking for escape routes as he takes a bite of his beef jerky. The inside of the SU. Oh, he was expecting more than trouble. He was expecting these. God damn it. Oh, God. Bamboozled me. Ugh. So, how you doing? How you doing? Hope you're doing good. Alright, where was I? Okay. The air inside the SUV is cold and silent, filling only with the crackling plastic sound of the beef jerky bag in Gabriel's hands. Primed for action with the tension building, the closer you get to the warehouse. Perhaps it's best to break the silence, or maybe just stay quiet. Gabriel offers you and Michael some beef jerky, and Michael takes 2 pieces and eats through his ski mask as he drives, lifting the mask up. God, the one thing I'm always surprised with is how expensive beef jerky is. Like a little bag is like, I don't know, $6 or something. Beef jerky. Let me look it up. Let's see. Okay, make that $20. First thing I find, Pounders Jacqueline's Meat Snacks Original Beef Jerky. It's just like one of those. What is that? A 1 pound bag? Is that what they normally are? No, there's no way. Either way, this a 1 pound bag is $20. If you go on Amazon, let's see. Damn, some of this is just very, very expensive. Why is teriyaki so much cheaper than regular original? That's weird. Oh. Yeah, that's an awful lot. I don't know why beef jerky. Why is beef jerky so expensive? You know what? Let me just Google it since we're in the topic of talking about beef jerky. I like beef jerky, but damn, is it pricey? Yeah, why is beef jerky so expensive? It's more expensive because it's a higher quality, more nutritious snack than most mass-produced snack foods. High in protein, low fat, and ready in a moment's notice. But doesn't it have like a lot of salt in it? Isn't that why it stays preserved? Ah, whatever. Okay. Either way, back to the story. Oh, man. Okay. Have either of you guys ever met the Dawn before? You ask, prompting a reply from Gabriel, as Michael stays silent.
No, not really,
Gabriel says, continuing to look around the place, scanning for exits and entrances.
I've seen him before, sometimes watching from across the street, sometimes through my binoculars. Either way, I know he's never seen me before.
There's a long stretch of silence before Michael finally replies. I've had a talk with him, but not as Michael. He's eccentric, but it's known to keep a cool head when he needs to. But lately, we've heard that he's been cracking under our pressure, he says with his electronically distorted voice. Does the Dawn know who you guys are? You ask, knowing that not even you know who they are. Gabriel looks at you and says,
Behind this mask? No, but I'm sure he knows who we are as Archangels. He knows Gabriel, he knows Michael, and I think he knows Raquel, and that's all. There's a reason why we constantly wear these masks. We don't trust anyone.
But trust me when I say it's a relief to take these things off. Mine smells like a 6-week-old sock. Michael says, lifting his mask up to reveal the ski mask beneath. His voice is temporarily undistorted as he rubs his eyes. And it's kinda hot here, too. That's because you never wash yours, Gabriel says with a chuckle.
Oh. Oh, the things we do to protect our identity.
When you think about it, you've never washed your mask, but you take a sniff. It's not that bad. It just smells of paint and foam padding, which is quite nice and not really that hot. Wonder how long Michael's been wearing his. How much do we know about the Dawn? You ask.
Not enough. We know he has a compound somewhere in Illinois, but we don't know where. We know it's near Chicago, though.
We also know that he's been put under pressure by our operations, and that he thinks we're working for the Archangels back in Canada, Michael says.
Are you? You ask. No, we're an independent cell who just wanted to neutralize the outfit, Gabriel chuckles, which is a stubbornly huge undertaking now that we've had the time to think and reflect. I never counted on things being this complicated. But then again, it's a challenge and I welcome it.
If we die, I'm blaming you, Michael says.
If we die, my sister's gonna kill me, Gabriel chuckles.
You know they're chuckling, but for some odd reason there's a sense that both Michael and Gabriel don't know what's coming, and have little to no plan as to how you're going to go about this, which is discomforting to you. Take some beef jerky. You grab some beef jerky and take a bite. It's sweet, salty, chewy, and spicy. It warms your mouth and throat as you swallow it, and it's quite nice. You remain silent for the remainder of the ride to the warehouse. You look behind you, and sure enough, you can still see the two sedans following. You look back to the front and see two guards standing in front of a warehouse door. They lower their weapons as they give all three of you the stink eye, scanning you through the windows. Michael parks the SUV next to them and gestures for everyone to get out. Warehouse S7, morning. The fresh smell of the morning air, combined with seawater spraying into mist, and the aroma of beef jerky hits you as Gabriel leads the way, with Michael behind him as you cover the rear. You look around before going inside and see the two sedans parking behind the SUV, somewhat blocking it from getting out. They get out and stand guard around as a few break away and follow you. Count a total of 10 soldiers around you outside the warehouse. One of the two waiting in front of the door looks a bit different in his fancy coat, fedora, suit, and red tie.
Just the three of you.
Just the three of you.
Just the three of you. There we go.
The man asks.
You must be Soares, Don Lavidenchi's underboss,
Gabriel says, putting his gloved hand out for him to shake. Soares ignores Gabriel and gestures to one of the two sedans. You look over and see the car door opening, revealing a man wearing a fedora and a thick, expensive-looking dark gray overcoat, black suit and red shirt and black tie, immediately flanked by two outfit soldiers armed with some machine guns. This must be Don Lavidenchi. The Don takes off his fedora and stares Michael down with a look that can only mean trouble. But then he shows a smile and says in an authoritative voice, Michael. Michael stares back at the Don with a completely unreadable face, due to the fact that he's wearing a mask. Don Lavidenchi, Michael replies, putting out his gloved hand for the Don to shake. The Don turns to Gabriel and says, The Archangel's in the outfit, face to face at last.
Wouldn't want to miss the opportunity to meet with the devil himself, Gabriel replies, stares at him coldly.
The Don shrugs off the name-calling, then reaches out and shakes Michael's hand, saying, Just the three of you. I heard there were more. The three of us are the only ones you need to talk to, Michael says as he lets go of his hand. The Don gestures to his men and says, Well, here's how it's gonna go down. You're gonna pat down all of our soldiers, and then we're gonna pat down you. We all leave our guns behind in our cars, and then we go into the warehouse. How's that sound? Gabriel looks over at Michael, and the two nod in unison before Michael looks back at Don and says, No deal.
What makes you think we'll get into the warehouse that you picked? Gabriel asks.
There's quite a distance separating the three of you from the rest of the outfit, who are currently all on the Don's side, either too afraid to circle you or possibly under orders not to. Well, I can assure you, if I wanted to kill you, you would have been dead before you even saw me, the Don says.
Judging by the fact that we're still alive after your numerous attempts from your assassins, I don't think you're capable of it,
Gabriel says, overflowing with salt and shade. You can see from the reaction of the Don's face that he's taken it as quite the burn. I've underestimated you for so long, but now that I know who I'm dealing with, I know that killing you isn't exactly the easiest option, he says. Now shall we go inside? Staying outside isn't a really good way to avoid arrest.
Why, don't you own the cops? Gabriel asks.
It's not them I'm worried about. the Don says, possibly referring to the FBI. After all we've done to you, why would you want to talk to us now? Michael asks. Because I have a proposition. I need to know. I'm curious, the Don says. Why are you doing this? He asks with a genuine hint of confusion and frustration in his voice. Who are you? I've done nothing to you, and yet you kidnapped my stepbrother. So what sort of sick bastard are you? The Don voices crack with anger a little. Not as sick as you are. You order your men to kidnap kids and ransom them back to their parents, sometimes keeping them and raising them as your own. You've had hundreds of people of all ages and genders give away their lives for you, all in the name of keeping your drug operations alive. Your devastated families killed innocent people and orphaned children, Michael says. That's how running a city works, the Don shouts, his voice booming with anger as he throws his hands up to make a point. You killed my soldiers and cops. They had families too. Do you really think you're better than me? Oh no! We can be much worse, Michael says, taking a few steps towards the Don as a few of his bodyguards, including Soares, close in. I've killed many, and unlike Gabriel, I don't care who stands in my way. That's how you run a city. I think this city's better off without you. Is that what you want? You want the whole city? You want my money? You want my power? The Don looks over at his soldiers, gesturing to them and to himself. I never understood what you want, but I can tell you it's not fun being me. Oh, I know, Michael says. I don't want to be you. I don't want your city. I don't want your money, and I don't certainly want your power. He stares the Don down from a few feet away. Gabriel and I, we used to kill assholes like you for fun, but now we're doing it because the world's better off without dirtbags like you, he says menacingly, his electronically distorted voice echoing through his mask. You see the anger in the Don's eyes falter as if his biggest fear has been confirmed. He takes a deep breath before asking, So, you want to kill me? Fear starting to grow in his eyes. Yes, Michael says, sending a faint shiver down the Don's spine. Maybe down yours too. No, Gabriel says, walking up to Michael and putting a hand on his shoulder. We want you to stop. We want you to retire and give the city back to the people, or to us. Whatever it is, we just want you to leave the city alone. Michael turns to Gabriel, and the two of them stare at each other again, locking in conversation of gazes and head twitches. For some reason, you can tell that Michael's a bit angry at Gabriel, and Gabriel's trying to calm Michael down, telling him not to go too far or reveal too much. Then you may wish to hear what I have to say, the Don says. Your friend's life depends on it. He must be referring to Greg. Just then, with a smile, Don Levidenchi takes off his overcoat along with Soares, and they throw them into the car along with the pistols that were strapped behind their backs. You see a few of the 10 outfit soldiers doing the same, but a couple of them stand still and keep an eye out, pistols in hand. Gabriel looks at you and says, Keep your guns until they've completely disarmed. Then he walks past you to take off his heavy bulletproof vest and throws it into the SUV before pulling out his favorite pistol, the Browning high power with the number 12 carved on the hand guard, and sets it on top of the van next to the beef jerky. He taps it a few times as if to put it to sleep or let it know that it'll be fine, like a soldier comforting their spouse before leaving for war. Look at Michael and see Michael pulling out his revolver doing the same, albeit in a less dramatic way. Setting it on the dashboard of the SUV's driver's seat. You keep your shooty bang bang and smile, your 2 Beretta M9 in your hand, and watch as Gabriel and Michael walk back over to the Don. The Don smiles as he raises his arms for Gabriel to search, while Soares gestures for Michael to raise his arms, which he does. Two of them pat each other down, and then again vice versa. Whoa, ease up down there, the Don says, breaking the tension. You notice something odd and suspicious in the way Gabriel's patting the Don. It's as if he's not really searching for anything as much as he's focused on planting something in his suit pocket discreetly. You look around and hope no one saw it. Sure enough, no one did. You wonder what Gabriel's planning that he's not telling you. Soares nods to the Don, and the two signal for the other two of their soldiers to walk up to Gabriel and get searched. The process is repeated as Michael and Gabriel search all 8 of the unarmed outfit members thoroughly. None of the 8 soldiers are wearing any sort of bulletproof vest or have any kind of weaponry on them. One of the soldiers pulls out a squishy blue ball from Gabriel's pocket and looks back at the Don. The Don looks at Gabriel as he shrugs and says, "Stress relief." The Don nods and the soldier puts the ball back into Gabriel's pocket, then pulls out what looks like a titanium flask. The Don and Gabriel give each other a look, with the Don smirking and chuckling before signaling the soldier to put the flask back into Gabriel's pocket. He continues to pull out various objects out of Gabriel's pockets, specifically a VAM security insurance brochure, a small bottle of water, a single strip of beef jerky, and a shopping receipt from a supermarket. "You got a lot on you, Gabe," the Don says. "Being prepared never hurts," Gabriel shrugs. One of the soldiers patting down Michael pulls out a bright yellow flower which he smells, along with a toothbrush, a half-empty bottle of water, an empty beef jerky wrapper which Michael promptly throws into a nearby garbage bin, a dark red handkerchief, a notebook, and a pen, all of which are returned to Michael's pockets, except for the pen, which Gabriel puts back in the car at the Don's behest. In the end, Gabriel looks at you and says, "I need you to search one of the last 2. I'll search the other." He gestures for you to be ready, but he doesn't tell you to put away your pistols. You most definitely can't keep your primary weapons, but you can hide your shooty bang bang smile somewhere on your person as you're being searched, and also have your baton that you could use. You walk back to the SUV and contemplate what you should do. Fortunately, you won't be able to keep your Juggernaut suit, since it's a bit obvious, so you take it off and set it down in the car. Leave the shooty bang bang and smile, but keep the nightstick. You keep your Juggernaut suit on you and set your rifle down on the seat. Pull out your pistols and set it down beside the rifle, putting your baton somewhere underneath your suit jacket before finally walking back to one of the 2 outfit soldiers, now unarmed. Gabriel begins to search one of them while the other gestures for you to raise your arms. You do so, hoping for the best as the male outfit soldier proceeds with the pat down. The first thing they notice is one of your pistols. Apparently it's a bit obvious. "I thought I put that away." The Don looks at you with a disappointed frown and says, "Put that away, kid." You turn around and leave behind one of the pistols before letting them continue with the pat down. Really hope they don't find the second one. He pats you down thoroughly, and you try your best to remain as calm and composed as possible, knowing that the slightest twitch could give away the fact that you're hiding something. But he pats you down and a wave of relief passes over you as he pats across where you hid your weapon, then goes past it. He misses your weapon completely. The outfit soldier in front of you continues to pat you down. Pretty soon, once they finish patting you down, the Don extends his hand to the door and says, "Shall we?" This gives the all clear, saying that you're good to go, and you're all beginning making your way towards the door into the warehouse, hopefully with everyone completely unarmed. Well, maybe everyone except you. You walked in the door, past the tight hallway, and finally into the barren warehouse receiving area with a small number of wooden crates scattered around the place. Looking around, there's no immediate other exit beside the one you came from, and the door you see at the far end of the warehouse is one of the glass-walled offices. You take in the smell, and the first thing that hits your nose like a punch in the face is the smell of fertilizer. You guess that this place was once used to store fertilizer. You instinctively close your nose and cough out the smell, but it's no use, and eventually you get used to the pungent stench inside this barren and nearly empty warehouse. However, in the middle of the warehouse, you see a man in black pants with a bloodied and dirty dark gray turtleneck, a clerical tie around the collar, tied to a chair with a bag over his head. His arms and legs are visibly bloodied, and as Soares walks over and pulls the bag off his head, you see Greg, your friendly neighborhood black market dealer, beaten and bruised all over, blood dripping from his lip and nose. His clerical clothing is tattered and dirty. Greg's bloodshot eyes look up at you. He smiles when he sees you, Gabriel, and Michael. "Hey," he says with a painful groan and a dry, parched voice. Gabriel quickly rushes over and pulls open his jacket to see what the outfit members, to which the outfit members immediately go on alert. But when Gabriel pulls out a small water bottle, everyone calms down. I goddamn knew it! Jenga! He opens the cap and pours down some water in Greg's mouth. You can hear Greg's thirsty gulp as he finishes the entire small bottle, some of it dripping off the sides of his bloody cheeks. Gabriel looks over at the Don and says, Really don't take care of your prisoners, do you? Oh, and they stabbed me in the back, the Don replies. Gabriel begins feeding a few strips of beef jerky to Greg. You can see Greg wincing as he bites down on the jerky, as if he has a toothache. Maybe some of his teeth are loose, or possibly his jaw is broken, or maybe all three.
What did he do to stab you in the back? Michael asks.
He started working for you, the Don says, gesturing to you. Michael and Gabriel's Greg pants as Greg pants and takes a breather.
He didn't work for us. We just made a deal together, Gabriel says.
In any case, he's not getting out of here until I say so. I would like to give you all a proposition, the Don says.
Does it involve you retiring? Michael asks.
Not necessarily, the Don replies with a slight hesitation.
Then whatever it is, the answer is no.
Then whatever it is, the answer is no, Michael says as Gabriel checks Greg's wounds before feeding him some more beef jerky. I'm sorry, but you seem to think that you have the advantage, the Don says, and then he chuckles and looks over at Gabriel, who's currently busy tending to Greg, then looks at you for an answer. Look at Michael, who stares you down with his trademark intimidating gaze, but it's as if he can sense something from his mind that tells you to speak your mind. You look back at the Don and prepare to answer, or not. Stare back at the Don hard. You stare back at the Don with your best angry and fear-inducing gaze you can muster. The Don's eyes falter as he takes a single step away from you, cautiously looking around at his men. Michael turns to you. You have no idea what the expression on his face is, but just from his gaze, you can tell that he approves. You hear Gabriel sighing before looking away from Gray toward the Don.
What's the offer?
You see the Don's irritation seeping away as he perks up a little smile. Simple. We'll let all four of you, including Greg, walk out of here alive. We won't hunt you down. I'll pull the bounty off your head and leave you be. All you have to do is leave us be. I swear on my mother's soul I won't send anyone after you ever again. The Don puts his hand on his heart, bowing a little as he offers a deal. Gabriel stares at the Don for a moment and then adds,
Add a part where you leave Chicago alone and we'll have a deal.
The Don's smile fades away, and then he chuckles and sighs. You don't seem to understand the situation you're in. You do anything to me, you're dead. You walk out of here without my permission, you're dead. You're in no position to bargain.
All we want is simple. Stop messing with the people in Chicago and we'll stop messing with you.
Gabriel takes a few steps forward toward the Don. He watches some of the Don's soldiers back away cautiously toward the crates. The Don raises his chin, shaking his head in disbelief, as he says, Are you really this stubborn?
If your men take one step closer to those crates, I'll rush over to you and rip out your throat,
Gabriel says, and everyone freezes, including the Don. The Don stares back at Gabriel as he tries to gather his words, his mouth hanging open as if he's surprised, but he continues. I think you're telling the truth. I think you really could rush over to me and rip my throat out. But I know that as soon as you do, all my soldiers are going to shoot you dead. The Don smirks.
Yeah, but you'd be dead too,
Gabriel says coldly. The Don continues to stare as his thoughts gather, and he seems now to realize that Gabriel would stop at nothing to achieve his goal. The Don finally relaxes his muscles, and the fear fading away from him as he gulps and grits his teeth. You really want to kill me, huh?
I want to stop you. If I have to kill you in the process, so be it. The world's better off with you anyway. Better off without you anyway,
Gabriel says, and with that, the Don's usual expression fades away, and he asks the question everyone else has been thinking. Who are you?
I'm the bastard who's gonna stop you, Gabriel says.
The Don and Gabriel lock in a staring contest before Michael joins in on the stare down. The outfit soldiers around you freeze as the Don says, We have 10 people, not including my reinforcements outside. Do you really think you can touch me? Gabriel chuckles and says,
I wouldn't worry about the ones outside. And yes, you have 10 people and we have 4. I think the odds are slightly tilted to one side.
The Don smirks and says, Don't you accept my proposition and let us be on our way? I'm sorry, but you seem to think that you have the advantage, Michael says, cutting him off mid-sentence. The Don looks around at his soldiers, and you can even catch a chuckle and smile from Soares, as the Don shrugs and gestures as if to ask, Don't we? Gabriel walks up to the Don and continues,
I'm sorry to inform you, Mr. Lavadenci, but the odds are in our favors. You're gonna need more soldiers.
The Don freezes, his mouth slowly opening to say something, but Gabriel's words push back whatever he had to say back down his throat. The Don closes his mouth and gulps, looking down at his soldiers, before looking back at Gabriel, who's currently staring him down along with Michael, side by side. He finally opens his mouth and says, They think you're invincible. They say you're invincible. Let's see how much of a superhero you are without your armor.
You'd be surprised,
Gabriel says. The room falls silent, with the only audible sound being Greg's painful groans as he tries to set himself back up, right in the chair. The Don takes a step back as the soldiers take a step towards the wooden crates. Michael eyes the soldiers and clenches his fist, while Gabriel locks his eyes with the Don, and you see that he's holding something in his fist. Oh wait, it appears to be attached to his black tactical glove. The Don takes a deep breath, looking around at his soldiers, and releases the breath as a sigh. Shit! You see something metallic and shiny spring out from inside Gabriel's palm, and he opens his fist. A small curved karambit blade unfolds from his hand, and he lunges forward in a silent charge. His first step launches him towards his target. The Don quickly turns around and dashes to the office at the other side of the warehouse, but Gabriel's gaining speed and quickly catching up on the Don. But before he can slash his blade at him, Soares intercepts Gabriel with a tackle. The two of them fall to the ground as the Don rushes for the exit. While this is going on, Michael quickly closes and buttons up his suit jacket as the Don soldier rushes to the crate at the edge of the warehouse. As Michael finishes buttoning his shirt, you see the soldiers pulling out pistols, shotguns, submachine guns, and assault rifles from behind the crate, when suddenly Michael rushes over to the one now wielding a shotgun. The soldier quickly pumps the shotgun, chambering around, and raises it at Michael. With a loud boom, you see a shockwave ripple across Michael's suit as he continues to barrel the soldier down, who's now wearing a look of utter surprise and disbelief as Michael continues off, shrugging off the shotgun pelts as if they were nothing. Michael quickly grabs the barrel of the shotgun, which you're guessing is searing hot now. But he doesn't seem to mind as he pushes the shotgun away and slams his elbow into the outfit soldier's face, sending him flying over the crates as Michael holds onto a shotgun. He pops the shotgun, raises it at the other outfit soldiers, and opens fire. They return fire with their pistols and some machine gun rounds as the few with rifles quickly follow the Don to the office. You see Michael's suit puffing out with smoke and fabric debris as he takes on each shot. He grunts as he continues to march forward and shoot them down with the shotgun. The shots he's taking seem to do no damage to him. He appears to have things handled. You look at Gabriel and see him wrapping his legs around Soares' waist, holding him above his face as he quickly slashes against Soares' face with his karambit blade, sending a streak of blood flying out from his cheek and nose and spraying across the ground next to them. Soares reels back in pain, trying to get out from Gabriel as he slashes once more, this time aiming for Soares' neck. Then you see an outfit soldier run up and stab Gabriel in his shoulder, pinning him to the ground as Gabriel's blade just barely misses Soares' neck. Gabriel grunts in pain and immediately kicks Soares off of him. Then he grabs the handle of the knife lodged on the soldier, turns around and takes a knee. The outfit soldier backs away in fear as Gabriel stands back up, pulling out the knife out of his soldier and wincing. There are now 5 people focused on Gabriel, 3 of them armed, including Soares, who pulls out a small pistol from a holster hidden in his sock and approaches Gabriel from behind. However, oh yeah, you do have a weapon on you. You have your nightstick, and that's about it. You could search the crates around you to find another weapon, but as of now, that's all you got. However, you could rush toward the Don and try to tackle him, but you have to be fast, and you'll risk getting shot by his bodyguards with their AK-15s and AK-47s. You also see that a couple outfit soldiers are currently focusing their attention on Greg, who's currently trying to lift himself up out of the chair, but he falls to the ground helpless. They're gonna shoot him. Or you could try and help Gabriel fend off his attackers. The whole world slows down just for you. The shouting drops into a low bass and the bullet cracks past you in slow motion. What would you like to do? Think of a way to save Greg. Your mind races through the many possibilities to help Greg, and your eyes searching from left to right for anything that you could use. Your eye catches what appears to be a metal hatch on the ground beside Greg. You quickly jump over your wooden cover and rush over to Greg, who's about 40 feet away. With a heaving dash, you sprint across the warehouse towards him. You manage to make it to Greg just in time before they shoot him. You quickly grab the handle to the metal panel below and yank it open, revealing a small box of electrical wiring. You grab onto Greg and pull him down along with the chair he's tied to behind the metal cover. You hear a loud burst of gunfire and you don't feel any of your limbs getting shot. Then you hear the sound of bullets impacting and ricocheting off the metal. Your ears are suddenly struck by the incredibly loud shouts of Michael's shotgun as he opens fire at the 2 outfit soldiers around Greg. You see one of them fall to the ground and the others blown back a few feet from the impact of the shot. Michael turns to you and says, "Might want to go find a first aid kit." As you've been busy trying to help Greg, you don't have any time to react when bang! Soares fires at Greg. You see a puff of smoke and fabric shoot out of Gabriel's back, but instead of falling, Gabriel quickly turns around and rushes Soares as he fires a second shot right at Gabriel's face. Metallic sparks fly out from Gabriel's mask. Gabriel quickly grabs onto Soares' pistol, and in a flurry of movements, you see the magazine shoot out of the bottom as the slides pulled back, sending a round flying through the air in its shell as Gabriel pushes the gun away with one hand and sends an elbow into Soares. Soares collapses to the ground after Gabriel slams his elbow into the side of his neck, right above the collarbone. Gabriel quickly turns around with just as the previous opponent rushes at him with a knife. He pulls back as the outfit soldier slashes at him with a knife. Gabriel quickly pushes into and slices upward with the blade protruding from the bottom of his fist, slicing through the soldier's neck. The soldier falls to the ground, clutching his throat and coughing up blood. The 2 armed outfit soldiers immediately open fire with their pistols and shotgun at Gabriel. You see puffs of smoke erupt from his suit, but Gabriel doesn't back down, nor does he let any of the shots bother him, as he quickly rushes them, pushing away the barrel of the shotgun and grabbing the pistol of the other soldier. As he wrestles the pistol away from the soldier, he redirects it toward the soldier with the shotgun and forces him to open fire, shooting the soldier with the shotgun in the leg, causing him to fall to the floor. With the second shot right through the soldier's head, stops his painful shout. Gabriel quickly disassembles the pistol he's so desperately wrestling for, and as the magazine falls to the ground and the round in the chamber flies out, Gabriel lets go and slams his fist right into the soldier's thorax, causing him to pull back, clutching his throat as he painfully tries to breathe. Then Gabriel sends a forward heel kick cooking straight into the side of his face, knocking him out cold. Gabriel turns to the last soldier, who's currently pointing a pistol at him. He slowly backs away, hand shaking, gun clattering as the metal shakes. Then he turns around and bolts off in the same direction as the Don went. You turn and see the Don has escaped through the back door. You hear Gabriel cursing as Michael shoots down the last remaining outfit soldier in the warehouse. "Damn it! Gabriel kicks the ground before grunting in pain, clutching his thigh. Michael walks up to him as he reloads his shotgun, looting the shotgun shells off the corpse of the many outfit soldiers littered around him. Hey, at least we survived. Why the hell did you want to meet anyway? You know he was going to try and kill us.
I know, Gabriel says, running his hand along the top of his head, scratching his hair through the mask. You find yourself wondering, does Gabriel even have hair? Then you recognize a noticeable but recognizably coarse voice.
I know I told Gabriel that I'd love to be tied up in a room with him, but could any of you please untie me?
Greg says as he groans painfully from the chair.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Gabriel replies, walks over to Greg and starts cutting his ties off of him.
What the hell did they do to you?
Gabriel asked, looking at the many patches, bruises, and patches cuts along his arms and legs.
They thought I knew who you were,
Greg says, coughing out his words accompanied by some blood.
I told them that even if I didn't know, I wouldn't tell them.
Greg smirks.
Mighty kind of you, Murdoch,
Gabriel says as he helps Greg stand up from the chair. You can see his knees trembling, his arms shaking, and then he falls over. Gabriel catches him and pulls him back up. Greg looks over at you and says,
They broke my legs. Fixed them, then broke them again. Same thing with my arms.
He looks down at the ground as he tries standing up with Gabriel's help, his smirk fading away. Don't worry. What we're about to do to the Dawn will be much worse, Michael says.
The guy's afraid of you. He's afraid of all of you,
Greg says with a chuckle.
He's got reinforcements outside. About 50 soldiers. He's got the best of his soldiers coming to kill you. With all due respects, I don't think we're getting out of here alive. At least, not all of us.
Greg looks around at everyone, then down at his quivering legs, then back into the seat he was in.
We're not leaving you behind,
Gabriel says, throwing Greg's arm around his shoulder and helping him walk. Greg chuckles as he stops walking and looks back at the chair.
I'm not worth this much sacrifice, Gabe. Dawn was pretty clear on wanting me dead. I'll only
Shut up and let's get out of here, Gabriel says, pulling Greg along. I've heard those words a million times, and I'm getting sick and tired of it.
You, Michael, Gabriel, and Greg make your way to the front door, when suddenly you hear footsteps coming from the outside of the warehouse. Lots of them. You hear Gabriel sighing as he says,
We're gonna need to hold them off.
He taps his earpiece.
Jenga, Jenga, Jenga.
You don't know what it means, but Gabriel quickly sets Greg down behind the cover of a concrete half wall, and Michael slings a shotgun around his back and picks up an AR-15 from a dead outfit soldier before taking cover beside Greg, aiming at the main warehouse entrance. You see Gabriel picking out two pistols, holstering one and aiming the other at the door. You walk around and find that there are weapons all around you. You find a pump action shotgun, a rifle, and a submachine gun. Grab the submachine gun. You run over to the corpse and grab the submachine gun. Then you run back to Gabriel and put your back against the wall beside him. You hear the sounds of footsteps closing in on the main warehouse door as you take cover next to Gabriel, and you hear him sighing through his mask. You don't know if that's him being tired or if maybe there's an injury you can't see. However, before you can assess further, you hear a sudden boom as the air is pushed out from your lungs and your ears begin to ring. The main door has been blown wide open. A plume of smoke and debris flies aimlessly towards you, hitting your concrete cover and ricocheting off. Emerging from the smoke, you see a black riot shield with a viewing window. At first, you assume them to be the police, but as you spot the other armed individuals behind the shield bearer with their leather jackets and non-standard issue weaponry, you realize that they're outfit soldiers. The shield bearer in front sticks out a pistol from the side of the shield and opens fire from a choke point that you're guessing the Dawn has strategically planned. You hear the muffled gunshots of Michael's rifle firing at the outfit soldiers rushing into the warehouse as Greg closes his ears and cries out in pain. Most of Michael's shot hit the shield, but you see puffs of smoke shooting out. None of his shots seem to have gone through as the shield bearer fires back with his pistol.
Michael pulls back as Gabriel looks around the room at the dead outfit soldiers, then runs over to one and begins searching him.
Gabriel, do something! Michael shouts. I'm trying, have patience.
Gabriel seems to be looking for something. For what? You're not quite sure, but you don't have time to react as the shield bearer and 4 other outfit soldiers behind him are already halfway through the hall. Think of something. You pause for a few seconds and let your mind brainstorm for a possible solution. You look around for anything you could use. Your eyes suddenly lock into the metal shelf with a thick metal back wall on your right. You rush over to it, grip the sides, and begin pushing it slowly toward the mouth of the hallway. You begin blocking the entrance to the hallway with the metal shelf, and Michael, from the other side, quickly grabs onto the shelf and begins helping you. You hear metal dings as the bullet crashes into the thick metal backing of the shelf, causing several dimples to form on the other side. You hear someone shouting from down the hall. Stop firing next to my goddamn ear! You push with all your might, and with Michael's help, you finally close off the hallway effectively. You pull back and catch your breath as the barrage of gunfire continues, causing more and more dimples to form into the shelf. After a few seconds, the sound of gunfire stops as a different kind of gunfire breaks out from the other side of the shelf. And then everything goes quiet. You and Michael look at each other before quickly moving the metal shelf back out of the way. You peek around the corner and see a pile of dead outfit soldiers littering the hallway. Then you see Haynes walking in the doorway leading out of the warehouse with smoke coming out of the barrel of her Diamaco C782. Hey, I heard you could use some help, Haynes says with a smirk as she starts reloading her Diamaco C782. You see Raquel walking into view behind her carrying her Benelli M4 shotgun.
Yeah, about 15 minutes ago. I yelled Jenga 4 times. What took you so long?
Gabriel says as he throws away the 2 pistols and begins walking down the hallway. Is it over? You hear Greg faintly ask as he tries to pull himself up. Michael grabs onto him, throwing his arm over his shoulder, and helps him down the hallway. Michael gestures for you to follow as he makes his way down the hall behind Gabriel, throwing away the shotgun before cracking his knuckles and neck. We had a little trouble getting here. Sorry, Haynes says as she and Raquel pull back, revealing the litter of dead bodies behind them. There are more than 20 outfit soldiers all over the ground, either dead or bleeding to death. Many of them have bullet holes all over their body, some with slice marks across their neck and stab wounds in their chest.
Damn, the Dodge seriously wants us dead now.
Oh yeah, like he wasn't serious about it before, Michael chuckles. You two are the craziest damn criminals I've ever met, Greg says, and then he coughs up some blood. Hang in there, Father. We'll get you back to the church, Michael says, pulling him in closer as he holds him up. Hayne and Raquel walk you, Gabriel and Raquel, through the sea of dead bodies and eventually arrive at the SUV, where you see your crew reloading their weapons. It appears they all played a part in taking out the many outfit soldiers waiting outside to kill you. See Mouse inside the SUV, his eyes fixated on the screen of his laptop, monitoring a dot on the map as it moves from point to point. You planted it on the wrong pocket, but it was close enough, Mouse says.
At least I have his dry cleaning tag.
Gabriel pulls out a small tag from his pocket. He looks back at the warehouse and gestures for everyone to go into their respective SUVs.
Alright everyone, we might want to move back away from the Boom!
A gigantic cacophony of explosions erupt in the warehouse as a giant fireball shoots out from the top of it, engulfing the sides of the sheet metal walls and support pillars bent outward from the explosion. You feel the shock wave impact you like a colossal punch, sending you flying. You manage to fall back down on your shoulder and do a roll, causing a little damage as you suddenly feel the heat erupting all around you, wrapping you into a heat wave so hot you can feel your blood boiling. You feel the air escape your lungs as the fiery atmosphere slowly subsides with the cool sea air pouring in, sweeping away the heat, causing a cool relief to wash over you as you hit the ground in pain. Your eyes are ringing, your ears are ringing, Your eyes are blurry, and every part of your body hurts. Gabriel coughs and huffs and puffs, trying to say something, but you can't hear anything at all. He wheezes as he crawls over behind the cover of one of the SUVs. He grabs the handle of the rear passenger door, both to pull himself up and to get it open. You look around and see that Greg is on the ground, face bloodied and eyes closed. Clothes even more tattered than before the explosion. Raquel, who was inside the car, gets out disoriented and limping to one side, then rushes over to Greg's body and checks for a pulse before giving a thumbs up. Michael pushes himself off the ground, coughing and bellowing a painful scream as he looks back at the burning warehouse, with the roof caving in and the beams and walls melting from the fire. You can feel the heat from here, which Michael says to Gabriel, with the heaving pant after each couple of words, but you can't hear anything beside the ringing in your ears. You take a breather and the ringing in your ears begins to subside a little as you hear a loud muffled "What?" from Gabriel. "What the hell was that?" Michael shouts as he tries to regain his balance. "I can't hear you," Gabriel shouts. "Ah, shit." Michael curses as he limps over to the SUV and props himself up against the hood of the car, taking a breather as he grunts in pain. Raquel looks over to Gabriel and starts giving him signs with her hands. You don't understand what it is, and you're guessing it's not any normal sign language. Gabriel nods and shouts, "It's ammonium nitrate. Did you smell the fertilizer inside?" "Yeah, what the hell was that?" Michael asks, continuing to shout at the ringing in your ears begin to subside a little more. "They laced the entire warehouse with explosives. They're highly volatile and used in improvised explosive devices," Gabriel explains. "God damn it. How did you not see this coming?" Michael grunts as he limps over to the driver's side door of the SUV next to Gabriel. "I did see it coming. As soon as we entered and the smell hit me, I realized that if we see the Dawn getting out of here too, we should too," Gabriel says as he catches his breath. "They didn't count on us getting out of here so fast," he says with a slight chuckle. "Well, we might actually want to get out of here now," Michael says as his gaze rises from towards the road leading away from the warehouse. You turn and look as suddenly 2 SUVs come driving fast towards you. All of you, both with tinted windows, as if trying to tell you, "We're the bad guys." "Take cover!" Gabriel shouts with a heaving breath as he reaches into the SUV and pulls out his heavy body armor and throws it over his shoulder onto his torso, dangling it by the straps, not bothering to properly strap it down, as he grabs his rifle and rushes out into the open, aiming his rifle at one of the 2 SUVs. You hear the all too familiar and distinctive gunshots of Gabriel's F&C as you see glass debris erupt from the windshield of the SUV on the left. Your crew scatters behind the cover of your 2 SUVs as they try to regain their bearing, with Haynes standing beside Gabriel behind cover, Anna behind the SUV with a rifle, and Charlie staying in the driver's seat of the SUV with the submachine gun. As Haynes and Gabriel open fire on the SUVs, you see the one on the left swerve to the side as their tires explode. It drifts to the side and crashes through the barrier before driving off the pier and plummeting into the water, hitting a wooden post along the way, then slowly sinking down into the water below, with no sign of anyone trying to escape. The other SUV swerves left and drifts to a stop. You see the outfit soldier occupants hop out from the other side behind cover, they quickly open fire back at Gabriel. Your crew immediately hops into your SUV with Charlie behind the wheel, while Raquel and Michael rush back to their own SUV. "Gabriel, we need to move. Let's go." "Gabriel, we need to move. Let's go," Michael shouts at Gabriel. Gabriel quickly lowers his rifle and limps back to their SUV, grabbing Greg along the way and helping him get into the SUV. Raquel helps by grabbing onto him and pulling him inside. As they're running to your SUV, you hear Gabriel calling to you. Turn and see him throwing you your gear. You catch it and quickly get into the SUV with it. You're now reunited with the Ronald Reagan shooty bang bang and smile, your 2 Beretta M9s, and Juggernaut suit along with your nightstick. currently have your HK UMP5 submachine gun on you. You could still use it, but you won't be able to carry it with you the whole time. Will you leave it behind, or will you keep it and replace your Ronald Ray gun? I'm not abandoning my Ronald Ray gun right now. Leave the submachine gun. You decide to leave the submachine gun behind. With the weapon being attached to the outfit, you want nothing to do with it, as it might be linked back to you. You decide to keep your Ronald Ray gun instead. You hear Gabriel shout over the radio.
Alright, let's get out of here.
Charlie quickly puts the SUV into reverse and turns it around. The trio's SUV does a complete 180-degree pivot on the spot, burning rubber as it screeches off and launches off toward the SUV at the far side of the dock, where the outfit soldiers are taking cover. A couple of the outfit soldiers quickly rush out of the way, only to be taken out by Gabriel as he fires his rifle out of the SUV window. Those who didn't run are immediately greeted by the trio's SUV as it crashes right into the back of them, pushing the back of their SUV up in the air as it twists around to the side, sending whoever was taking cover behind it flying away. Charlie quickly stomps on the pedal, quickly following the trio as they push through the outfit's SUV. Many of them are scattered on the ground trying to get back, while others are already raising their rifles at you. You notice that the rear wheels completely bent inward. They won't be given chase anytime soon. Suddenly, the rear window of the SUV shatters as they open fire at you, and quickly looks out at the back of the SUV and gives a loud and deadly reply with their Diamaco C782, emptying the magazine at them. You see a few of them drop to the ground while the rest rush behind cover on the other side of their disabled SUV. Soon enough, your crew, followed behind the main trio, make your way out of the docks into your somewhat banged up SUV. You hear Gabriel on the radio saying,
Alright, good work everyone. Split up and meet back at the church.
Can we stop at KFK along the way? I'm super hungry right now. You hear Greg say through the radio. With that, you and your crew part ways with the main trio before making your way into a zigzag pattern back to Greg's church. With the five of you in the SUV, it's crowded and somewhat quiet as you make your way to the church. However, you get a text from Gabriel telling you to pick someone up along the way. You're given the coordinates, but no information as to who you're picking up. Pass the information to Charlie. Oh, alright then. That's not so far away, he says as he turns the SUV around and drives back where you came from. Then a half mile down the road, he turns. It takes about 15 minutes before you find the correct address. You realize you're in the right spot when you spot Voldy wearing his usual chrome mask, the black skull over the face, along with his black suit, white shirt, and blue tie. You look around for his crew, but find that he's the only one there. You wonder what he's been doing all by himself. You order Charlie to drive up to him, and Charlie leans over with a reply. Are you sure that's Voldy? What's he doing all by himself? Even from this difference, you can see the detail of his chrome mask with the black skull. To be honest, you're not sure yourself, since you don't know how he looks like behind the mask. But Gabriel gave you orders, so you might as well just go with it. Charlie drives the SUV up to him, and Voldy pulls out his phone and types something as he opens the side passenger door, which is where Anna's sitting. But she quickly hops out and jumps into the back seat of the SUV without Voldy having to ask. Voldy nonchalantly steps into the SUV and takes a seat beside Charlie in the front as he types away on his phone. Everyone continues to stare at Voldy as he stops and looks around, realizing that all eyes are on him. Can we go to the church now? He asks. You recognize the voice, so now you're pretty sure it's Voldy. Charlie quickly puts the SUV in gear and begins driving down the street toward the church again. Hi. Can we stop by McDonald's? Charlie asks as he focuses on driving. Mouse starts jumping in his seat. Oh, yes! No, Anna says. Yes, Voldy says. I'm hungry. Yay! Charlie cheers as he makes a turn towards a McDonald's drive-thru right down the street. You hear Anna sighing as she shakes her head. Fine, but I'm not going to take the blame if Gabriel asks us why we're late. Relax, Anna. We've got a few minutes to spare, Haynes says as the SUV drives into the McDonald's drive-thru. Charlie drives up to the speaker, and you hear a young teenage voice with the tone that tells you that she'd rather be somewhere else. Welcome to McDonald's. May I take your order? Voldy leans out of the window and says, yeah. Yeah. Can I get a number 6? Charlie peeks around Voldy as he shouts out his order enthusiastically. Enthusiastically. Give me a big old number 9 large. You hear Anna sighing as she leans out the window. I'll take a number 4A. You hear Hayne perking up as she orders. Let me get a number 4B with 4B, no ketchup. Oh, I want a number 6 and a large number 5. Mouse raises his hand like a little kid in class asking for permission to go to the toilet. It's now your turn to order. You turn and look at the menu, which seems pretty new and a bit different from the other ones you see. Well, I'd like a number 9, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda. Continue. You finish ordering your meal, and it takes you quite a while before your order finally arrives at the next window. As you drive up, the clerk stares at the condition of your SUV, riddled with bullet holes and broken windows. She hesitantly passes out the food as Hayne passes it along. As the clerk continues to stare wearily at all of you, Hayne looks back at her and shouts, What, never seen an SUV go through the wrong neighborhood before? The woman closes her window before rushing off nervously. You all grab your meals and everyone begins eating. Even Charlie is holding the steering wheel with one hand, driving the SUV out of the drive-thru and down the street and munching on his double royal cheeseburger with the other. You open up your meal and begin eating. It's going to be a while before you finish. The rest of the ride back is quiet as you pass through the city streets of Chicago. Hayne finishes her large meal before everyone else and pats her stomach as she belches out of the window. Whew, I feel like I could burst any minute, she says as she unbuckles her belt. You're still halfway through your meal when suddenly... Hi, does anyone feel like we're being followed? Charlie says the word you never want to hear when you're in a car with 6 people. You quickly turn around and see that there's 2 minivans of different colors driving behind you. Either that's the 2 same minivans that have been following us for the past couple of miles. That's the same 2 minivans that have been following us for the past couple of miles, Voldy says. You haven't been paying much attention until now, and upon closer inspection, you can see that the family van isn't occupied by anyone who would be driving their kids to a football practice. Instead, there's around 3 to 4 fully grown men in leather jackets who couldn't look more ominous with their focused expressions. What's the possibility of them only being behind us by coincidence? Anna replies. Mouse pulls out his phone and takes a picture of the license plate before typing on his phone for a few seconds and turning to you. The van right behind us stolen from a dealership 5 days ago. They're definitely following us, Mouse says. Voldy looks over to Charlie and asks, Can you lose them? Can you lose them? Oh, can I? A wide, enthusiastic smile crosses his face. Don't encourage him, Anna says with a sigh. Man. Been slipping from my chair for the past couple minutes. Sorry, let me just get readjusted. Almost done. Alright. Just about. Okay. Nice and comfortable. Don't you like being nice and comfortable? Everyone does. This is an actual car chase, Charlie protests. I could lose them in seconds. Then lose them, Voldy says. Lovely. Everyone hold on to your knickers. Charlie shouts as the SUV leaps forward. The SUV races off down the road and you see the minivans also picking up speed. It seems they really are following you. Hold on tightly, the SUV tossing and turning as Charlie races down the road, straight towards a busy T intersection.
The road you're going down can only lead to the left or right, but there's a gate leading into a building straight ahead. And Charlie seems to be going straight, with no intention of turning. Charlie, you might want to start turning, Haynes shouts. We can go straight through. We'll lose him. We'll see if we can lose one of them in the process, Charlie shouts in reply. You're about to cross a busy busy intersection, and go through a gate that you don't know where it leads. Voldy says nonchalantly, holding onto the handle above his window. I like it. See? Charlie shouts. No, Anna protests. Yes, Charlie shouts back. Charlie, go straight through. Yes, sir, Charlie shouts with enthusiasm as he steps on the gas and goes straight through the intersection. With either perfect luck or skill, the SUV drives through the intersection with no problem. Though a sedan misses you by just a few inches. You look back and see the minivan went through the red light, followed right behind you through the intersection. You hear a loud crash as a second minivan farther behind gets T-boned by a postal van, sending it careening across the intersection with a loud screech. That's one down, one to go. You look back to the front and see the SUV breaking through the first gate with no more resistance than a small bump. You hold in as the SUV crashes through the second gate, revealing an incredibly busy street. Charlie shouts, "Oh shit!" as he quickly slams the steering wheel to the right, crossing into the opposite lane and onto the main road in a sharp 90-degree turn. You feel the entire vehicle shift. Sorry. You suddenly feel the entire vehicle suddenly shift to the right as you see the whole world outside tilting to one side. Oh shit. Everyone, hold on! Charlie shouts, and you realize that the two of the wheels of the SUV have lifted off the ground and the entire car is currently leaning to one side. Everyone in the cabin gets immediately swung to the right as they try to hold on. The SUV drifts on two wheels. You grip on tight as you turn around and see Anna getting her face squished against the window by Haynes' rear end. She's trying hard not to let go of the handle above her window. You feel Mouse's grip tightening as he too hangs on you, clinging to your arm like a cat dangling off a ledge. Everyone screams as they hold on for dear life, when suddenly the world's right side up once more, and the SUV slams back down, four wheels on the asphalt as it swerves from left to right from the inertia. Anna lets out a loud "oof" as the pressure on her face is released. Haynes slams head first into the window and cracks it, letting out a painful grunt. Mouse, don't we have airbags or something? Mouse jumps and lands on your side, hugging you tightly as he slowly looks around frantically, shaking and scared. Charlie quickly takes control of the wheel before racing off down the road. You look back and you see the minivan, also trailing to the side on two wheels, drifting behind you. You see the four outfit soldiers. They too manage to correct themselves and slam back down on four wheels, and the chase continues. You don't see the other minivan, so you think you might have lost one of them. However, much to your dismay, you see two more minivans with tinted windows rushing in behind them, joining the chase. It's rather weird that they're using minivans instead of SUVs. You wonder where that SUVs went. I heard the outfit's having budget cuts. Ha! You hear Charlie in the front seat laughing as he slaps the steering wheel, causing your SUV to jiggle from left to right for a few seconds. Oh, whoops. Sorry. You notice that the minivan in front has its sunroof open. You see one of the outfit soldiers rising from the open sunroof with what looks like a RPG rocket. Point out the fact that they have a rocket launcher, and Hayne quickly looks back and says, "Well, shit." Everyone might want to hold on, Charlie shouts. No shit. I haven't let you go since you made the turn, Anna shouts as she climbs into the backseat with Mouse to give you and Hayne some space in the middle. You look back and see the outfit soldier aiming the rocket down your SUV back door. Through the shattered window, you hear a loud swoosh as the rocket shoots out and glides toward the air towards you. Charlie quickly slams the wheel to the left, and once again the SUV drifts and swerves, with the rocket very narrowly missing the back of it as the car drifts cleanly into an alleyway.
You hear a loud boom as a stray rocket hits something out of you. The driver of the minivan desperately drifts it into the alleyway as the rocketeer sticking out of the sunroof holds on for dear life, and they follow right behind you with the other two swerving in right behind them. Voldy sighs. God damn. These people don't know how to quit. Cat! Charlie shouts out of nowhere as the entire SUV suddenly grinds to a halt. Your body's thrown forward. You hold on for your seat. You hold onto your seat as tight as you can as you look to the front and see there's a little cat scurrying across the alleyway, almost having gotten run over. Holy mother of bloody hell, I almost killed the cat. Crash! The SUV jerks forward as you hear a loud meow and the same cat jumps up onto the hood of your SUV. You look back and it seems the minivan slammed into the back of your SUV, and the Rocketeer flew out of the sunroof and landed halfway through your SUV's broken rear window. Oh, bloody hell! You hear Mouse shout as you realize that there's blood coming out from the outfit Rocketeer's soldier, right along the ridges of the broken glass. The shards of glass seem to have dug themselves into his stomach. Charlie, drive! Haynes shouts, and suddenly you hear a low guttural cry for help. Wait, please. You see the Rocketeer slowly lifting himself up from the sharp glass ridges of the broken rear window of your SUV, mouth bloody. The RPG rocket launcher he uses on you is currently in the back seat. Oh shit, he's still alive. Hang on, I'll save you. Mouse quickly rushes over and grabs onto the Rocketeer's vest. You notice a couple of spare rockets strapped onto the back of it. Suddenly, the SUV leaps forward as Charlie frantically steps on the gas, causing the Rocketeer to crown in pain as his innards slowly spill out into the back of the SUV, the ridges of broken glass shredding his stomach. Mouse's eyes stare in terror as he screams, "Oh, sweet Jesus, Mother of Joe! Stop the car!" The Rocketeer shouts as Charlie screams in confusion and steps on the gas even more. The Rocketeer suddenly falls limp and you hear a spluttering sound as his body separated in two halves, his innards spilling out in a bloody mess onto the backseat. Am I going to get restricted for this? Mouse continues to scream in absolute terror, still trying to drag the now limp Rocketeer by the vest. As the SUV and the minivan part ways, the Rocketeer falls out of his vest and drops out of view behind the SUV while Mouse is thrown back from the sudden release of weight. Ah! Mouse frantically looks away, screaming, confused as to what just happened, and in a state of absolute horror as he holds the bloody vest of the Rocketeer in his hands, with the two still strapped to it. Two spares still strapped to it. Ah! Anna shouts as she stares at the pile of bloody innards spilled across the backseat beside her. Ah! Charlie shouts in utter surprise at the fact that there's now a cat sitting on the hood of the SUV, staring absolutely perplexed at the chaos through the windshield. Ah! Charlie shouts in utter confusion as to what the hell's going on. Meow! You hear the cat's perplexed wailing along with your crew members. You see Voldy at the front staring at the cat in complete silence as everyone around him is screaming their lungs at. Anna, grab the rocket! Voldy immediately lifts his foot and slams it down beside Charlie's leg. Ow, my foot! You hear Charlie shout as the SUV jerks forward. Charlie quickly regains control of the SUV as it drives onto the side alleyway again. Look back at Anna as Anna frantically picks up the RPG rockets and grabs one of the two spare rockets from the vest Mouse is holding. As Mouse starts crying in confusion with all the stress and chaos, you see the minivan now without the Rocketeer continue falling behind you, driving right over the two-piece corpse of their fallen colleague. You turn around and see that the cat from before jumped off your SUV is now climbing up a fire escape, leaping away to safety. They're still following us, Anna shouts as she loads a rocket into the RPG and starts to aim it down the alley toward the minivan. Then smoke him! Boldy shouts as Anna takes her time to align the shot. Hayne quickly jumps out of the way of the back of the RPG as she shouts, "No, wait, don't!" Swoosh! The extremely hot plume of black smoke explodes out of the nozzle of the rocket launcher as the rocket propels itself toward the minivan behind you. You feel an incredibly powerful heat wave and a gigantic blast of air smack you across your cheek, pushing you against your door. Boom! The rocket explodes as it hits the engine block of the minivan. The explosion stops the minivan dead in its tracks, causing the back of the minivan to reel upward as it explodes into a fiery mess of shrapnel. The interior of your SUV is also smoky, fiery mess. All of the windows covered in soot and rocket-propelled residue. With most of the seats catching fire. You hear everyone behind Anna coughing as Charlie shouts, "I can't see!" Charlie quickly reaches back and grabs the soot-covered cup of soda, then splashes it over the windshield, causing some of the soot to clear away. "Damn it, now everything has a brown tint," he says as he looks through the Coca-Cola covered windshield. Apparently the left forearm of your suit has caught fire. "Oh shit, you're on fire!" You quickly pat the fire out as you hear, "Oh helly hell, sorry." Anna helps you put out the fire, accidentally slapping you amidst the chaos. "I don't know what's going on." You hear a mouse shout from behind as he starts to cry, looking around frantically as he holds the Rocketeer vest tightly, with one last rocket still attached. Hayne coughs violently as she puts out the remaining fire on the seat before turning around and rolling down her window halfway, until it gets stuck on the cracked glass. She gets up from her seat and leans half her body out the window, gasping for air. You too find yourself coughing out soot and rocket propellant residue as you open your window and try your best to breathe in the fresh air, before realizing that your window's also stuck. You can hear your heart pounding, your muscles tense, and probably because it's so hot right now in the SUV, you have absolutely no clue what the hell's going on. The only way you know that the SUV's gotten through the alleyway and found its way back onto the road is the fact that it's swerving left to right to avoid traffic. And looking out the back, you realize that you're driving onto oncoming traffic. "Charlie, wrong way!" Anna shouts. "Sorry, everything's just so stressful right now," Charlie replies, frantically trying to get the SUV back into the right lane. As Charlie swerves the SUV to the right, you see Hayne leaning out of the window even more, and you realize that she's about to fall out from the inertia. Anna quickly grabs onto Hayne's belt, when suddenly Hayne's pants loosen due to the fact that her belt isn't buckled, and Hayne soon finds herself dinging off to the left side of the SUV onto oncoming traffic, showing off her underwear to the outside. "Oh sweet Jesus, fuck, pull me back in!" You hear Hayne shout as Anna desperately tries to pull her back in. You turn and see Mouse realizing what's going on and jumping to try and pull Hayne back in, still crying and sobbing in confusion, but a small linking frame just isn't enough to pull Hayne in, and she continues to dangle off to the side. You look out the back of the SUV again, and you see that there's still one minivan chasing you, the man in the passenger seat's opening up his window and raising his rifle. Help Hayne back in. Reach forward, latch onto Hayne's belt, and begins pulling her with all your might. With Mouse's help, you find yourself also grabbing onto the armrest of your door to help pull her in. You feel Hayne's pants slowly slip off her legs as she dangles out the window with her underwear exposed. You pull her with all your might, grunting along with Mouse as he tries desperately to pull Hayne in. With his body size, it might as well be only you, but you welcome any help you can get. You can see Hayne through the cracked window, trying to push her upper body into a straight position, before using her thighs to pull herself back into the cabin. With you and Hayne pulling, Hayne is quickly brought back into the cabin. She flops back down onto her seat as Mouse falls over and drops back into the seat. Hayne quickly pulls her pants up before searching for a rifle. Mouse quickly props back out from outside the back seat, and Hayne's rifle in hand, raising it up into the air and yelling, "I found it!" I smacked my head on the handguard. A bit. He rubs the back of his head as Hayne quickly yanks the rifle out of his hands, then aims it out of the back of the SUV toward the minivan. Hayne opens fire with a burst of gunfire from a Diamaco C782, and you see the puff of smoke erupting from the hood of the windshield of the minivan chasing behind you. You also see the gunner leaning out of the side window, jerking backwards as puffs of smoke erupt from his arms and chest, trying to cover his face before his body slumps down against the glass. You can see lines of dripping blood beginning to trickle down his arm as he slowly falls limp out the window and smacks into the asphalt, pulling him under the minivan. The minivan he fell out of continues to chase right behind you. There's still two more minivans chasing you. chasing you. They aren't coming out of their windows to shoot back, so you think that's a good sign. But then again, you are still being chased. Ugh. God, I thought we were almost at the end. Scheiße. A sudden silence envelops the interior of the SUV, with the very quiet sound of rain beginning to pour outside. The atmosphere grows cold as a storm begins to form, and suddenly you feel something buzzing in your pocket of your Archangel issue dark uniform. You reach into the pocket and pull out your phone, look at the number, and recognize it's Gabriel. But before you can answer it, Charlie makes a very sudden and violent left turn, going through oncoming traffic and a red light to try and lose the minivans. Your entire body's thrown against the side door of the SUV as your head smacks against the armrest, sending your brain in and out of daze. You grab onto something you can and find purchase on someone's arm. You open your eyes and see Mouse holding onto you to keep you from falling out off the seat, as he also holds on to Hayne, who's holding onto the opposite door armrest. Hold on, Mouse shouts as you feel his grip on your waist tightening, not letting you go. The inertia sends an incredible amount of force bearing down onto your chest, when suddenly the SUV straightens out and you pull yourself back into a sitting position, grabbing onto your seat tightly in order to not fall off. Sorry, the rain's made things a tad slippery, Charlie shouts. Amid the chaos, you can still hear the buzzing of your phone. You look down on your hand and find it empty. You dropped it. You quickly bend down under the seat and search for it. Sorry. With the burnt interior and rocket-propelled tinted windows, you can't see much of anything. Your hand finds purchase on something, so you pick it up and put it on your ear. You see Mouse and Raquel looking at you confused before you pull your hand back and realize that you picked up a random pistol magazine. You toss the magazine aside and search for your phone again, and you see a sudden glimmer of light from what hopes to be your phone screen. You reach for it, grab it to your ear, and hear Gabriel calling out to you.
Kits, where are you?
You hear him asking. Look around and realize that you have absolutely no clue as to where you are. Hang on. You turn to Mouse and ask, Mouse? Where are we? Mouse frantically pulls out his phone and tries to open the map. You quickly put your phone up to his face for Gabriel to hear. Oh, we're near 2165 South Canalport Avenue, heading northeast, he shouts into the phone. You pull the phone back and hear Gabriel say,
Alright, you're a bit far, but we can get to you if we step on it. Tell Charlie to turn around and head southwest.
He hangs up. You stare at your phone for a moment before slipping it back into your pocket and turning to Mouse, who nods at you in confirmation. He turns and grabs Charlie by the shoulder, then yells, Charlie, we need to go the other way! You hear Charlie groaning as he tightens his grip on the steering wheel as he yells back, I haven't a bloody clue where we are right now. She quickly throws the wheel to the left before yanking the handle brake, causing the SUV to swerve in a U-turn. You hold on as securely as you can as the SUV drifts. God. As the SUV drifts cleanly off to the other side of the lane, with a few near misses screeching past, blaring their horn in protest.
You can sense Charlie's professionalism when it comes to driving coming into play, and he barely hits the curb with a small tap before straightening out and racing down the road in the other direction. God, I need a drink of water. Parched. uh, Look back, and sure enough, the minivans are still on you, though they slow down to complete their turn without crashing into anything and are now considerably farther away, and they're still giving chase. However, they don't seem to be as eager to kill you as they were previously. With the rain in the way, everything becomes somewhat foggy and obscured by water. They're holding... They are holding back. Keep your eyes out. Something's off, Wooly says as he looks down the road in front of you, ahead of you. Where exactly are we going? Charlie asks. I'm not sure, but we should be seeing Gabriel's SUV soon. Mouse says, then checks up on you, scanning your body for wounds. After he's satisfied with your lack of blood fountaining bullet wounds, he slumps back in his seat, leaning back. The atmosphere falls silent and somewhat calm, despite the sound of the SUV's engine rattling, the cracked and shattered windows, the bullet holes littered all over the cabin, and the burnt leather and rocket propellants everywhere. Hayne holds her Diamaco C7A2 at the ready, pointing it out of the back of the window as she looks down at the ammo she has on her vest and mutters some numbers. Hey, we might want to get back to the shop soon, because I'm almost out of ammo. Anna's very subtly trying to place a spent bullet casing on top of Charlie's head, to no success as the SUV continues to swerve left to right at the slightest turn of the steering wheel. Not to let anyone further, but the SUV doesn't sound very good. Charlie, how long will it last? She asks, and Charlie seems somewhat tired, sweating in his Archangel suit as he drives the wrecked and rattling SUV down this road at a steady pace. I'm not quite sure, but I don't fancy the idea of stopping to check under the hood, he says. Everyone's focus turns back to the two minivans still following behind your SUV. I really shouldn't have eaten that Big Mike. I really shouldn't have eaten that Big Mike, Oldie says, holding his wounded stomach as blood slowly starts to stain his hand. The car goes quiet again, save for the sound of a strong wind coming through the cracked windshield, rain pouring against the roof, and the rattling of the SUV's engine. Everyone sort of just sits there and prepares. For what? You're not quite sure. The outfit aren't getting any closer, but they sure as hell aren't going away. There's a calm yet steady rising tension in the air. You anticipate the break in the silence, but it never comes. No one wants to say the first word. Maybe a good time to check your gear and maybe calm your nerves. Use a med kit on Voldy. You reach out and tap him with your shoulder. You show him your first aid kit and he waves you away. No thanks, I'm good. You can see that he's bleeding from his stomach, but his face shows not a single hint of pain or emotion. You don't think he's in that much pain, but you wonder if he's feeling anything at all. Hayne, you alright? You ask. What? Hayne asks, reaching up and pulling out an earplug out of her ear. I asked, you alright? Oh yeah, I'm good, she says with an affirming nod. She quiets down for a few seconds as she continues to stare down the sight of her rifle on the back of the SUV, then asks you, how are you holding up? Could be better. That it could be. She gives you a semi-confident smile and a nod as she puts her earplug back in. Charlie, everything okay? You ask. Oh yeah, brilliant. Not much to worry about, Gov. That's kind of what I'm worrying about. He gives you a nervous chuckle. Sometime later, you hear a rubber tire skidding across asphalt to your right. You look in front of the SUV and see there's an intersection coming up. You hear the sound of multiple engines being revved, which suddenly there's an incredibly loud crash as a SUV similar to your own, even when it comes down to the bullet holes and cracked windows, bursts through the high chain link fence with a wrecked
and bent motorcycle being carried along the bumper, and a person in leather clothing and a motorcycle helmet holding on for dear life on the hood. The SUV swerves in front of you and straightens out as the motorcyclist on the hood still hangs onto the sides of the cracked windshield. Charlie quickly shifts into high gear and drives up next to the newly arrived SUV, then gets a better look. Sure enough, you see Gabriel driving through the cracked window. You also see Raquel pulling out her shotgun before aiming it through the cracked windshield with a single hand and opening fire at the motorcyclist on the hood. You see a burst of glass and gunshot fly out of the windshield, and you also see the motorcyclist's arm explode in a splurt of blood as they quickly try to pull himself up, only to be fired at again by Raquel, which shatters the motorcyclist's helmet, causing the body to fall limp. Gabriel swerves to the side, causing the motorcyclist's body to fall halfway off before their leather jacket catches on the hood, dragging their body along the side as they continue to drive down the street. The trio sure know how to make an entrance. You look into the rearview mirror and see the minivans that are following you, trying to catch up. Hayne opens fire on the minivan, causing a puff of smoke to erupt from beneath the hood, but continues to drive past you toward the trio's SUV. Hayne stops to reload as you see one of the passengers in the back of the minivan get ready to lean out the other side and open fire at Gabriel's SUV with his van. But then you hear Charlie shouting, "No! Wait, no!" He slams his fist against the steering wheel. Your SUV audibly starts to slow down as you hear the engine rattling violently. Charlie drops into a lower gear and swerves the car behind Gabriel's. You now have a much better view as the outfit gunner climbs out the side of his minivan and raises his SCAR H battle rifle at the window, where you can somewhat see Greg trying to pull himself back to find cover in the back seat with Michael inside the cramped SUV, distracted by someone else inside their car with them, who seems to be fighting them. Time grinds to a slow and steady pace as you feel the adrenaline shoot through your heart. You turn and see Haynes still busy reloading her Diamaco C782. So is Anna. Charlie's busy driving. Mouse doesn't know how to shoot, and Voldy doesn't have a weapon. It's down to you. Quick, do something. Shoot the gunner. With the pistols. You aim your pistols at the outfit gunner through your cracked windshield, then pull the trigger. Bang, bang, bang! You open fire and your shots hit the outfit gunner right in the upper arm. He lets go of his battle rifle, letting it fall to the ground and off the road as he leans forward and slowly falls limp out off the side of the SUV. The outfit gunner slowly slips out of the window before crashing headfirst onto the asphalt and tumbling around before getting run over by your SUV. You feel a slight bump as the vehicle drives over him. You don't think he would have survived that. You look back at the main trio's SUV and see the trunk has popped open. There appears to be a motorcyclist facing Michael away from you, wearing the same type of clothing as the previous one, whose body is still dangling off the side of the hood. Michael kicks the motorcyclist out of the back of the trio's SUV. You hear a loud shout before the motorcyclist crashes down onto the asphalt and tosses and tumbles across the road before slowly coming to a halt far behind you. You turn back and see Michael giving you a thumbs up before closing the trunk. You have no idea what's going on, and at this point, you're too afraid to ask. There's still only one last minivan chasing behind you, but before you can try to predict what they'll do, they suddenly slow down and swerve off the road, then drive away from you and out of sight. Well, that's weird. First they stop attacking you, now they've stopped chasing you completely. Not sure if more are coming, but for now, with no one chasing you or shooting at you, you can hear your entire crew sighing in relief. You also find yourself taking a much-needed breather. Follow behind the main trio's broken and shut-off SUV with the lone outfit soldier dangling off the side, getting dragged along for the ride. The drive back to Greg's Glorious Goods is long and silent. Fortunately so. You have a lot to think about and a lot to ask. But as you approach the underground entrance that leads to Greg's church, you keep replaying in your mind the many times that you've nearly faced death. You're tired and mentally exhausted. Everything went by so fast you didn't even catch the details of what happened afterwards. It's all a blur. Greg's Glorious Goods. You're right back at the underground black market shop, safe and sound. All the wounds you have and your crew have received over the day and have been patched up by Mouse and Raquel.
Greg thanks you especially for your help before giving you some sort of coupon. It reads 50,000, Greg's Glorious Good coupon, cash refundable, in fancy purple script on reflective silver paper. You can use that to buy whatever you want from my shop. Think of it as a thank you for saving my ass. Greg gives you a smile for a nod of gratitude, and he gives similar but much smaller denominations of the same coupon to each of your crew members, and finally turns to Gabriel. As for you, Gabriel,
Don't need a coupon, thank you.
Gabriel chuckles as he raises his hands to decline. Oh, no coupons for you, you handsome son of a gun. Greg walks up to him and offers him a handshake. You, my friend, get a favor. Any favor, you name it, free of charge. Gabriel nods in gratitude, then thinks about it a lot for a few seconds.
I'll let you know if I have something in mind.
Gabriel shakes his hand. Don't keep me waiting. Greg winces.
I'm afraid what'll happen to me if I do.
Gabriel mutters as Greg turns around and limps back to his office, possibly to get his wounds treated and his stomach filled. He thinks so, judging by the fact that people are bringing medical equipment and trays of food into his office. And with that, Gabriel, Michael, and Raquel begin to work at the task at hand again. A few hours later, here you are sitting on one of the 3 wide office break room couches with your crew members, Hayne, Charlie, Anna, and Mouse. A few moments later, Rook and Bishop enter the room, both of them dressed in large costumes. Rook's wearing what looks like a taco, while Bishop's wearing a burrito. The two of them take a seat beside you on the couch, both having trouble bending their knees in their incredibly impractical costumes. You see a piece of lettuce repeatedly slapping Rook in the face, and he has to constantly blow the lettuce away with his mouth. You take a whiff, and sure enough, they also smell like their respective foods. You stare at Rook and he notices. He turns to you and says, Don't ask, we had to outrun a hot dog and 3 security guards covered in mayonnaise. It's a long story, Bishop adds. The room falls silent again when suddenly the door opens again, and Gabriel and Michael walk in.
Evening, everyone.
Gabriel addresses the room, carrying a whole folder of documents like a teacher walking in class. We've got some things to deal with, and we don't have a lot of time, Michael says as he also walks in with a folder of documents.
Which is why I'm assigning each of you a
Gabriel looks up from his documents at everyone in the group before staring at Rook and Bishop.
Why are you wearing those?
Gabriel asks them, staring at their taco and burrito costumes. Rook is carrying his rifle with the suppressor slung against the slits of his tortilla of his taco suit. Don't ask. Rook sighs in exhaustion, wiping the sweat off his brow, along with a strand of cheese from his costume. We got into a fight with 2 hot dogs and a burger. They called the cops on us, so we ended up having to make an improvised explosive using mayonnaise bottles. Bishop explains. Gabriel stares at the two of them, utterly confused for a full 10 seconds before saying,
That doesn't explain why you're wearing the...
You don't want to know, Pennywise. Rook says, smiling, reaching into his taco seat to pull out a smaller wrapped taco, and he begins eating it. Gabriel continues to stare as Rook eats his taco while wearing the taco suit. Anyway, you said something about assignments? Gabriel seems like he's in a desperate need of an explanation, but he finally continues.
Yeah, I need you to interrogate someone,
Gabriel says, then he pulls out a file and hands it to Rook. It's the file for one of Voldy's targets and now his prisoner, Judge Martinez. Rook and Bishop read through the file together. What do you think? Good cop, bad cop? Rook asks, blowing the lettuce leaf away from his face.
Nah, I think we need something stronger,
Bishop replies, snuggling comfortably in his burrito suit. Kinky cop, depressed cop? Rook asks. Too strong, Bishop says, shakes his head. Silent cop, insane cop? Rook shrugs. Yep, Bishop nods. And with that, Rook closes the file and puts it aside and looks back at Gabriel. Where is the poor gringo? He says with a smirk.
He's in interrogation room B, but there's something more important right now. Gabriel looks over to Mouse. Mouse, are you done with the phone? Mouse nods and pulls out a smartphone from his pocket, then hands it over to Gabriel. Gabriel takes it, scans through the files and contacts inside, and nods in satisfaction. Great job, Mouse. He continues to examine the smartphone.
What is that?
Gabriel asks.
What is that? Charlie asks.
This is an exact duplicate of Don Lovedenchi's phone. Every secret he has in here is ours. His photos, his contacts, photos, everything, Gabriel says. Courtesy of Mouse and Raquel.
Gabriel nods to both of them. You hear a knock at the door. You turn and see Tracy peeking her head inside and looking around. Gabriel, someone's here to see you upstairs, she says. Gabriel stares at Tracy curiously for a few seconds.
Who the hell would want to see me?
As Gabriel, Raquel, and Michael head upstairs to check out whoever requested their presence, you see a few of Tracy's workers walking down into the basement. They're wearing black overalls and surgical masks, but you can see splatters and splashes of blood all around them. Judging by the mops, buckets, and cleaning equipment they carry, they appear to be Greg's cleaning service. One of them walks over to you and pulls out what appears to be a small pendant box. He opens it and shows you a familiar blue sapphire necklace. God, this thing's curious. We were gonna hand this back to you, but you were still out cold. And you had people around you, so I thought I'd hold on to it until you were awake, he says. You recognize the necklace. It's the necklace you got from your Velvet Cuts heist. You remember that it was left back at your safe house. The cleaners must have found it after you escaped. You find yourself staring into the sapphire for an unconsciously long amount of time. Excuse me? This is yours, right? The cleaner's words snap you out of your trance as he pushes the box towards you. Oh God, it's so mysterious. But I want it! Yes, thank you. Take the pendant. You take the pendant and pocket it to wear for later. After encountering it twice, you now notice that the pendant feels weirdly attractive to you, in a rather subconscious way. Wonder if there's more to the pendant than meets the eye. After a few minutes later, you find yourself standing in the middle of the hallway, all by yourself in the main quarters of the underground black market. Gabriel told you to wait for him to come out. This is weird, even for you. They've always been rather protective of their identities, and ever since Gabriel saw this mysterious person upstairs, he seems a bit agitated. You're not sure why, but you find yourself even more curious as to who they really are. Why they really are who they are, and why they do what they do. It's a question that's been nagging the back of your mind since you met them, and you can't quite get an answer. But if you remember correctly, the interrogation room has one-way mirrors, allowing you to watch from the other side without them knowing. All you have to do is make sure no one else is with you in the observation room with you. You could try to see if you can eavesdrop on them, or you could just wait for them to come out. Looking around the place for a moment, realize there are some new items in the store for you to explore. Well, when I do my next playthrough to get the game ready for transfer, I'll do that. But for now, I want to rush to the end. Watch them from the observation room. Decide to go to the observation room for the interrogating room that they're using. You look at the door that you saw the trio enter through and think for a moment, picking which door leads to their observation room. There's no markings on any of them, so you might as well guess. The door on the left. You walk over to the one on the left. You grab the knob and turn it, discovering that it's locked. But then you realize you have lockpicks. You pull them out and begin working on the door. You carefully twist and stealthily pick the lock. You twist the lock and hear the click, which sends goosebumps along your arm. You open the door, and the fact you don't hear anything is already a good sign. You open it further and see the fortunately empty observation room. You walk inside and look through the one-way mirror, which lets you view the interrogation room on the other side. You see the main trio in there waiting quietly. No sign of the mysterious man anywhere. Gabriel's sitting in his seat while Michael and Raquel stand behind him. Raquel leans against the wall while Michael's on his phone, typing away. You close the door to the observation room, hoping no one comes in later. And A few minutes later, Tracy and her colleagues walk into the interrogation room carrying what looks like a man in his late 40s, locked in their arms, wearing a thick black overcoat and black shirt and black tie. You assume him to be an outfit captain, but he doesn't seem like one. His gestures are smooth, methodical, calculated, and mysteriously ambiguous. Everything about this man is mysterious. He takes a seat in front of Gabriel, who gestures for Tracy and her colleagues to leave. The two of them leave the mysterious man in the room with the trio.
Who are you?
The company's been having troubles, Gallier. They're in need of your help, the man says, ignoring the question.
Don't call me that here. Now I'll ask you again. Who are you? How'd you find me?
Gabriel asks. I'm a keeper, the man replies.
Why did the keeper send you? Why isn't the company sending one of their own? Gabriel asks.
They can't. They don't know they're in trouble, the man explains.
What's the trouble? Michael asks.
I can't tell you. Not here. The man shakes his head apologetically. Gabriel falls silent for a few seconds, taking in the man's mysterious request before turning to Rachel and nodding. Raquel turns the CCTV in the corner of the room, walks over to it, and unplugs the cable behind it. I can't say much, but let's just say that you might be right about them, the man says in a hushed voice.
About who?
Gabriel asks. The Crusaders. At the mere mention of the word, everyone in the room freezes, including the man who said it. It's almost as if time stopped. You two find yourself frozen, unable to move, wondering if they know you're watching. Gabriel stares at the man before saying, How long? You have 1 month, the man says. Gabriel stands up from his seat and says,
I need to discuss this with my crew.
The man stands up with them and gives Gabriel a stern military salute before saying, We await your reply, Commander. You know how to contact us.
Thank you for the warning. Hope you have a great day.
Good day. Gabriel salutes back as he says goodbye. The mysterious man walks back out of the interrogation room, leaving the trio alone with you to watch from the other room. The trio freezes in place, then Gabriel turns around to Michael and Raquel and says, What do you
think it is?
If he's a ghost, I'd say it's a trap, Michael replies.
No, that's not what I meant. And no, he's not a ghost. He's a keeper. The fact that he knew where to find us tells me so. What I mean was, what do you two think about the Crusaders?
Gabriel asks them. Raquel begins to do her sign language at Gabriel, one you can't quite make out, but to get the general sense that she's not too happy about it. I'm with Michael. I'm with Raquel, Michael says, crossing his arms. Meeting Rook and Bishop outside the company? You being right about some global conspiracy. That keeper coming in at the least practical time. It just doesn't feel right. Michael says.
So what, we're just gonna have to ignore the fact that the one thing we've been trying to find evidence for suddenly comes out and reveals itself?
Gabriel says. No, I'm saying we have to be certain,
and you need to finish what you started here,
Michael explains. Gabriel falls quietly and thinks about it for a few seconds before saying,
We'll finish this up quickly, and then we'll go see what's up with the company.
I'm fine with that. 1 month should be enough. Raquel gestures to Gabriel as if to say, I'll always follow you.
Thank you, Raquel. Now let's get out of here and debrief everyone, Gabriel says.
However, before anyone can open the door, Michael raises his hands and says, Raquel, we need to talk. Raquel pauses, and Gabriel also pauses and turns to Michael. Michael looks at Gabriel and gestures for him to leave, but he continues to stare at Michael, confused. Raquel turns and gestures something to Gabriel, to which Michael replies with a shrug and says,
All right then, I'll see you outside.
He walks out of the room, leaving Michael and Raquel alone. Hopefully, Gabriel doesn't come into the same room you're in. Don't think I didn't notice, Michael says, crossing his arms. Raquel mimics him, crossing her own arms and leaning to one side for added flair. You and Kits are getting a bit too close for comfort. Is this distraction beneficial? He says. Raquel continues to stare at him before lifting a single finger and signing something. Don't give me that. Answer me directly, Michael says. Raquel groans and lifts her entire hand to speak, stressing that she's in no mood to talk about this. We're nearing the end, and we still haven't heard from Dante. Are you sure you want to do this with Kits? Michael asks. Raquel nods a firm reply. Then on your head it shall be, Michael says as he walks to the door and Raquel follows suit. Raquel briefly stops and turns toward the one-way mirror you're looking through, staring in your general direction for a second before following Michael out of the room. You hope Raquel didn't notice you. You reach for the door and quietly sneak out of the observation room, remembering to close it behind you as you rush to a nearby pillar, leaning against it, and wait for them to come out. You try to act casual. A few moments later, the rest of the trio finally comes out. As they do, you see Tracy walking over with two altar boys behind her, the three of them carrying hard cases. Gabriel, he left you this. Tracy shows Gabriel the 3 gun cases. The guy we talked to, Michael asks. Yeah, he said they're for all 3 of you, Tracy replies. Gabriel looks back at Michael, who shrugs. You follow the trio as they set the gun case down on the table in the common room. You can see that each of the gun has a number 2 digit and a letter on it. Has a 2-digit number and a letter on it. One of them has a 12P, another with the 05G, and the last of them a 14M. The 3 of them examine the cases. Hey, Mike, this one's yours, Gabriel says, gesturing to the case marked 05P. And this one's yours, Michael says, sliding over the case marked 12P to Gabriel, switching with the one Gabriel had. Raquel, on the other hand, is fixated upon the case marked 14M. Michael opens the first case, revealing what you can tell is a heavily modified HK-33 with 6 magazines by it. You see the weapon's make and model on the side, but you can also see what you assume to be its name, Thatcher. The weapon's fitted with the IR laser sight and a vertical foregrip attached to a custom railed handguard, along with an ACOG scope on top of the railed receiver. Raquel opens her case and finds a personalized Saiga SAIGA Saigai 12 with suppressor at the front, which you assume to be a flashlight laser combo by the railed handguard, and an EA Tech holographic sight supplemented with 2 drum magazines on the side. You also see a name engraved on the side, Soft Paws. Lastly, Gabriel opens his case, revealing a matte black SA-58. You can see the markings of its original model and make and model, C1A1 SLR. It's got an attached suppressor, an angled foregrip, and an AOG with a reflex sight on top. You can just barely see its name engraved in beautiful flowery script, Elizabeth, with 6 polymer 25 round magazines by it. You can't exactly picture their expression behind their mask, but for the way their body language as they hesitantly pick up the rifles, caress them and holding them in their arms, it seems as if they've been reunited with long-lost friends. How? Gabriel asks in disbelief, running his fingers around along the side of his rifle. I don't know, but I think he really wants us back, Michael says. Then we're going to have to be quick about this, Gabriel says. Michael sets his rifle down in the case and turns to Gabriel. We need to hit the big bank, and we need to do it now. We can't. They've still got a lot of people in their hands, Gabriel protests. The outfit's on the defensive. Remember how those minivans weren't so eager to attack Kits? They're pulling back. We've got them on the run, Michael says enthusiastically. Gabriel stares at Michael for a few seconds before saying, Why do I get the feeling you're smirking under that mask? I am. Michael nods. We're not ready, Gabriel says, shaking his head. Neither are they, Michael says. The 2 of them stare at one another before Gabriel sighs and nods, asking, We're not done yet, are we? Michael chuckles quietly to himself before saying, Oh no, we're not done yet. It's the beginning of the end for the outfit, and we've only begun.
Gabriel chuckles along with him and cradles his rifle and smiles. Let's finish this. Epilogue. Oh no, we're not done yet. Michael. Executive floor, Vamcorp Tower. It's a quiet day in the magnificent, luxurious office of the Corrigan of Vamcorp as Aisha puts the final folder into her briefcase. The large solid metal doors behind her open up as a man in a suit and bow tie enters, a butler bowing his head as he says, "Your escort is ready." Aisha nods as she picks up her briefcase and hands it to the butler, who gladly takes it, and then he straightens his back and follows her as she walks out of her office. Outside, 4 guards stand close by, armed with some machine guns and wearing body armor all over their suits. The 4 of them trail behind Aisha as her entourage, flanking her left and right as she walks down the hallway toward the elevator. "Any news from Galilee?" Aisha asks. "Still in town, man," the butler answers. "He hasn't caused us any trouble?" "Not to my knowledge." "What about Kits?" "Still with the Archangel." "And Corrigan Valentine?" "Waiting in the carpool for you, ma'am." The 2 of them arrive at the elevator, which is already on their floor. The butler quicks the door and the elevator door opens. The Corrigan walks into the spaciously luxurious elevator along with her 4 bodyguards, riding it down to the ground floor. "Hey, Charlie Company, has Charlie Company found Don Lavidenci yet?" she asks. "Yes, ma'am. Shall I relay the information to the Archangels?" Aisha thinks about it for a moment, then nods. "Send it. Make sure we keep an eye on them." "Will do, ma'am." The butler nods as he pulls out a tablet and types a few things. "How are our people in Los Angeles?" "Mr. Joy is utilizing the skill to the fullest potentials, but they recently had trouble with a local police officer who would only persist." "Who bought them?" Aisha turns to her butler curiously. "No one, ma'am. They're pure." The butler shakes his head. "Attempts were made, all met with strong moral convictions." "Well then, it looks like we have some work to do, after all." Aisha smirks. "Give some space, Reddy and Charlie Company. Let the recruitment team know we've got a hard one." Ding! The elevator door slides open, revealing 4 more guards, all armed with assault rifles and wearing body armor. The Corrigan walks out, and now the 8-person entourage surrounds her in a diamond formation as she casually walks through the executive lobby and out the carpool. As she arrives at the carpool, there's already a convoy of 2 limousines, both heavily armored but elegantly looking, fit for a president or a very important billionaire. The butler steps forward and opens the rear passenger door for her, revealing another woman sitting casually inside, legs crossed. She's wearing an all-black suit with a dark red tie and dress pants with crimson trim. The smirk on her face, which grows wide as she sees Aisha approaching. "Valentine, how are you, dear?" Aisha opens her arms as Valentine steps out of the limousine to hug her tightly. "Doing lovely, my lord. You look absolutely stunning," Valentine says, complimenting Aisha's white, silver, and gold hijab and business suit, a stark contrast to Valentine's black and red suit and free-flowing jet black hair. "You look ready to kill someone with looks alone," Aisha says, complimenting Valentine's dress. "I can never pull off a suit like that," she sighs. "And I can never pull off a hijab like yours," Valentine says with a chuckle as the 2 step inside the limousine. "So, why did you want me here?" Valentine asks as the 2 Corrigan's escorts board their vehicles and slowly begin to depart from the Vamcorp Tower executive carpool. "We have a problem," Aisha says, leaning back against the limo's leather seat, hands to her side. "You or me?" "Both, Val," Aisha sighs. "What's wrong?" "It's the cartels. There's going to be some trouble soon." "Aisha, you know there's nothing I can do about that." "I know, Val, but if you don't help, more blood will be spilled." "Good blood," Aisha says, gazing out the window. Val shakes her head and sighs. "The council will want to know." "I've talked to Henry and Arthur. They said they have problems of their own, so we're on our own," Aisha says, pursing her lips. "As usual." Val sighs as she opens a cabinet behind her,
and pulls out a bottle of wine. She takes out a glass and pours one for herself. If we're to do this, you need to help me with something. Anything, Aisha says as she turns to Val, scowling at her drink. Val takes a sip of her wine and sighs. She pauses for dramatic effect before turning to Aisha with a smirk. I need you to overthrow a corrupt government. The end for now. To be continued. Ah! Oh, Christ. That took so long. Oh, man. Well, that's the end of Breach the Archangel job for now. I don't know where the second one is. I don't. I haven't really seen any updates about it. I haven't really searched. So, who knows? Christ, that took us forever. Alrighty then, I hope you guys have a good and awesome rest of your day. I will not be doing another book reading next Monday. I'll probably just play a normal video game. Give me some time to rest the old cords and pick out a book. Hopefully one that's not too long like this. Oh Christ. Yeah. Alrighty then. I hope you guys enjoyed Breach Archangel job. I'm looking forward to the sequel whenever that comes out. Be back tomorrow, probably, most likely, unless something comes up. I hope you guys have a good and awesome rest of your day. Stay frosty, and I'll catch you on the other side of the day. Adios, mis amigos.